Welcome to Valour Strike. My name is Robert Zavis and I'm an ISK British Kickboxing Champion. And today I'm going to show you how to nail that perfect jab. So, first things first, get in our fighting stance. Make sure elbows are tucked in, hands up nice and tight. When you're going to throw your jab, the first mistake people tend to do is, when they throw that jab, they drop their hand to their chest and then they throw it out. As soon as you drop that hand and you throw your jab, you leave yourself exposed on your left side, which means the right hand is coming. What we want to do there is, we want to stop dropping that hand. Because saying, if you find somebody who's good, somebody who's got quick hands, as soon as you drop it, you're going to get hit. You do not want to do that. Because if the fight starts, you drop your hand, you get hit, especially with the right hand, and you get knocked out, it's going to look silly, okay? Firstly, because you made the biggest mistake ever. So when you throw that jab, make sure your hand stays tight. You throw it from your chin. Okay, to do this, I'm going to show you a nice simple drill where we're going to use a little bit of rope. And I'm in a gym, so I'm going to use the rope between bags and show you how to, when you throw your jab, how to keep that jab up and make sure it comes straight back to your chin. Next thing you want to focus on is, when you throw that jab, you want to make sure it comes from your chin and it goes back to your chin. You imagine there's a pipe, okay? You're going down the pipe and you're coming back. So you go down the pipe, you come back. You reach down that pipe, you come back. You reach down the pipe and you come back. So that's your second thing you want to focus on is, you do not want to drop your hand and then throw that jab. No, you want to throw that jab and then bring your hand back to your chest. Because once again, you leave yourself exposed to be countered. This is a nice simple drill to use to ensure that when you throw your jab, it doesn't drop, it comes from your face, it comes back to your face. Because if anything comes back at you, you're always in that defensive position where your hands are up and you're protecting yourself at all times. So when I'm going to throw that jab, my hand's always going to stay up. So I don't drop my hand down to my chest and then throw that jab. Because as soon as I do that, it goes underneath the rope, you know you're hitting it from your chest. So what you want to do is, you throw it from your chin, and now once you've thrown it, you recoil it back to your chin. So every time you throw that jab, you know it's going and it's coming from the chin. You can do the same drill for your cross, because your cross is a straight shot as well. So if you want to practice, use your cross to do the same thing. Because every time it goes over, you know you're landing it perfectly, okay? You're coming from your chin and you're going back to your chin. You're not leaving you exposed on either sides. Use this drill to ensure that your hands always stay up. They don't go down when you throw your jab and your cross. Third thing we want to focus on is, when you throw your jab, do you rotate your knuckles too early? Because if you rotate your knuckles before you even throw your jab, what that does is, it opens you up. It opens up you to the body, okay? So if I'm here, I rotate my knuckles now, my body's open, okay? Open, exposed for a body shot. So what we want to focus on now is, when we throw that jab, we want to keep our thumb up and we want to rotate our knuckles just before full extension. So if I'm here, I go in up, and then rotate my thumb inwards just before I get that full extension. Because I want to land my jab with my top two knuckles. From the side view, it looks like this. We go straight down, and rotate just before we get full extension. We go straight down, and then rotate. I'm going to show you a nice lovely drill against the wall, where you can practice on throwing that jab straight down. Because as soon as your hand's going to touch the wall, as soon as your elbow touches the wall, you know you're flaring it out. The next drill we're going to do now is the wall drill. This is once again to perfect that jab. To make sure when you throw that jab, you don't telegraph your shot, okay? Because if I'm going to throw my jab and I throw my elbow, it's going to hit the wall. And every time it hits the wall, you know you're flaring it out too early. So here, we're just going to stay nice and tight in our fighting stance. We're just going to throw that jab. And if you're struggling with that fist rotation, at first, what you want to do is nice and simple. Don't complicate it. Keep that thumb facing up. Once you get used to that body mechanics of going just straight up, start rotating just before you get that full extension. Because if you can throw that jab without no telegraphing, you're gonna always land it. And if you can land your jab, once again, it's gonna set up everything else. Okay? So it's essential to practice that jab. Practice these little drills. practice the rope drill, practice the wall drill. Because saying, if you hit the wall, you leave yourself exposed. But if I was doing the drill without the wall, and every time I throw that jab and I throw my elbow out, I don't know I'm doing it. Because there's nothing telling me where, as soon as I get to that wall, as soon as I touch the wall, I know, okay, I'm telegraphing here. I'm showing I'm going to throw something. I'm leaving myself exposed. Okay, so use that wall. Anything that will help you improve your jab. But the same thing applies to the cross. Because your cross is a straight shot as well, you can do the same drill with your cross. I'm just going to go into southpaw stance. So now my left hand's going to be my cross. If I throw my southpaw cross, same thing principle. If I throw my cross out too early, touch the wall, I know I'm exposed on that side. So here, I'm just using that wall, just making sure my cross goes straight down that pipe. Then back, go to that jab. Practice your jab cross, making sure your elbows don't flare out. Keep everything nice and tight. Don't show your opponent what you're gonna do next, okay? Make him think, okay? Make him not realize you're gonna throw a jab. Don't let him know that you're gonna throw a cross. Don't show your opponent what you're gonna do next, okay? Make him always guess. Make him be on his toes. Make him panic, okay? Is he gonna throw a jab? Is he gonna throw a cross, okay? And then, bam! Snap it out. Next mistake people do is, when they throw their jab, they don't get that full extension. They throw their jab and they keep it short. They don't get that full extension. You put yourself in a handicapped position, because if I'm throwing my jab and I'm stopping here all the time, what that's going to do is, I might be in range to throw my cross, my kick, my knee, but because I'm not extending that jab, I'm thinking I'm not landing on my opponent. When in reality is, if I'm just going to go from here, oh yeah, my jab lands, I'm going to throw that cross. If I go here and I stop now and it doesn't land, but my opponent's right in front of me, if I just do that extra extension, I can land my jab. What you want to focus on here is, make sure when you throw that jab, you get a full extension. You rotate your knuckles just before you get that full extension. You make sure your hand comes from your chin and it goes back to your chin. So, next thing we're going to focus on is accuracy. So we're going to go to the bags. I'm going to show you some bag work using that jab. A good tool to use for any punches, to just like watch your punches, is a mirror, okay? You've got a mirror at home, you've got a mirror in the gym. So when you're in gym, you can just literally go up to the mirror and you throw that jab, okay? Make sure that elbow's not flaring out, looking directly in the mirror, and the elbow's nice and tight, perfect, okay? Go side view. You throw that jab, you're making sure you're getting that full extension. If you look in the mirror and you're keeping your jab short, you know, okay, I need to just go a bit further out, a little bit further out. That's perfect. Your thing number two you can use is your camera, okay? So if you've not got a mirror, use your camera. Film yourself throwing your jab, and then watch your back, because you'll see mistakes. You'll see mistakes with your hands, and you see mistakes in your feet. Okay? So mirror and camera are great tools to use to watch your technique, to see where you can make improvements. Next, what we're going to do is, we're going to go onto a bag. We're going to do some bag drills. We're going to practice our punches on a bag. We're going to practice our accuracy. And one thing we could do is, what I like to use is when I go on a bag, because sometimes it's hard to establish when you're hitting a bag, like what's head height, what's body height. I tend to use tape, so I put a tape around my chin height, and I'm going to put tape around the bag, my solar plex height, because now when I'm going to be doing that bag work, I know if I land it on the tape, or just below the tape, I'm landing my shots on the chin or to the stomach. Okay, so we move on to the bag. When you first start off, everyone tends to underestimate how hard they punch. Like, if I want to nail that perfect jab or master that jab, one thing I need to do is I always need to make sure I'm punching on target. So that's my chin height, and that's like my sternum height. So when I'm fighting, I always imagine I'm going to fight somebody the same size as me. When I first started, I used to throw my jab down here, thinking that's my head height, when in reality it's not. I used to get told off for it all the time. I probably still do nowadays, but this is why the tape drill on the bag is so good, because when you throw that jab, and if you throw that jab to the head height and you land it here, you know you've not landed that jab to the head, you've landed it to the sternum, okay? If I want to throw to the body, I go down here, I know I'm not landing to sternum to the body, I'm landing to the groin, okay? So, the tape is good to making sure when you throw your jab, you always land on your target. Same applies for all your punches, okay? For your jab, your cross, your hooks, always have that tape because now you know where to hit or around where to hit. We're going to go into a quick little back drill. When you're throwing your jab, one thing you want to do is a change in your speed and your power. Because if your jab is constantly the same speed, the same power, it's easily to be read. If you want to hide it, you want to hide your jab sometimes. Because when you're going to throw that jab, you can just literally stand there in your fine stance, you can just flick it out. Nothing in that jab, your opponent's not afraid of it, but that's what you want. You just want to flick it out. You want to make him comfortable, you want to make him like feel like, oh, you know what, that jab's not like doing anything, I'm not afraid of it. Because you're just tapping in. And then whenever you're ready, you step in with that big, powerful jab. So you just tap, 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 and then you step in and you smash it in, okay? Same thing with the body. I can go jab to the head, jab to the head, jab to the head, and then I hit the body. See how the tape is allowing me to focus where I'm going to throw my punches. I'm going to the head, going to the head, going to the head, go to the body. I can do it the other way around. I can go to the head, or go to the body. Go to the body. No. Show the body, go to the head. You want to make sure that when we throw our strikes, we know where we're landing them. We don't want to just go on a bag and start throwing them just randomly, because if you throw your jab, say here, and you've thrown it 1,000 times, so your natural reaction when you're going to throw that jab, you're going to do it too low. So always imagine you're fighting somebody your own height. So if you do have a bag at home, you got a bag in the gym, get some tape on it, put your tape, you don't have to cover the whole bag like I've done. We could put just a little bit of tape. Now you know when you hit that bag, where to land your strike, okay? Land it to the head, boom, land it to the head, boom. Land it to the body, boom, boom, boom. And then again, if you're fighting somebody and your opponent's a bit smaller, okay, so you adjust the tape level to your opponent's height. If they're taller, you adjust it to your opponent's height, because then you get used to throwing them shots in that specific height level. Hope this video helped you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow my fight journey on Instagram at rob_zab, and I hope to see you soon.